Welcome to the AFT show presented by E3 Spark Plugs. I'm your host, Scottie Deubler, the voice of American Flat Truck and co-host of the podcast Off the Groove. Today, we've got two awesome guests. One of them is the 2019 AFT Singles champion, Dalton Gauthier, and his sidekick, Robby-Bobby McLendon. Welcome in. Let's welcome Dalton to the show. What's up, Dalton Gauthier? How you doing?
What's up, Scotty? How you been?
Hey, man, I'm good. What, Robby-Bobby's it? Robbie, you got your friend with you? What's that?
Yeah, this is little baby Dalton.
Little baby doll. I thought that was
His
sport.
only friend.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm mad at Dalton right now, so this is baby Dalton.
that's baby Dalton. I got you. So you guys live together, right? You guys live together down there in Pensacola?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, pretty much.
feet away from him actually.
So Dalton's in the bedroom. Morgan's up there on the top bunk tonight. So what you guys been doing to keep busy during the pandemic?
Nothing.
Not too much. I mean, I've been riding motocross a bunch. I don't know what Rob's been up to, honestly. You never know with him, but yeah, everything's been pretty good. I've been riding a lot and keeping fit and staying fit and trying to train as much as I can and just waiting for the season to start up. So yeah, not too much.
Rob, what have you been doing to stay busy?
I went back to building motorcycles and working at the shop and, giving Dalton multiple paddles per day because sometimes you just got to keep him in line and he needs a little.
So you're like the father figure. You took him under your wing, a couple years ago, and now you're like his Florida dad, or how's that work?
Yeah, he calls me daddy every once in a while, but no, no, he's really, really good, really, really motivated. So that part's easy on my end. Yeah, man, I'm definitely not his daddy by any means, but if I can be there to be a shoulder, be a mentor, be a coach, trainer, whatever, and even on pit bikes, I'll wax that, you know what. So whatever he needs, I got him.
Well, Dalton, we were going to show a few clips of what you've been doing lately, but your phone went swimming in a river. So tell me about that. What happened?
Yeah, so yesterday, good old Robby-Bobby decided he wanted to take me out to the lake, and then river. Okay, same thing. We got in a canoe, and there was about 5 people in it, and I was one of them. And we ended up going overboard, and my phone was in my pocket. So thanks to Rob, I don't have a phone right now.
So no phone. So do you feel like you're from like the 1990s now? You don't have a cell phone, or what? I mean, what are you doing to get by?
I got my computer, so that helps. But what's messed up is I had Rob's phone in my hand. And when we went overboard, I had to hold his phone out of the water like this. So look, now he has a phone and I don't.
Well, how did you have Robbie's phone in your hand and why was yours in your pocket?
He told me to hold
I
it.
was paddling. No, I was paddling 5 people, and Dalton doesn't have balance for crap unless he's on a motorcycle. And so he tipped us over on purpose. And then while I'm trying to save the canoe and save all these people's lives, Dalton walks to shore and leaves me in the water to drown.
Wow. It's a good thing you guys are friends, I guess. I mean, I don't know what you'd do if you weren't friends.
Yeah, I mean, that canoe was like full bore. Like, Rob does not have any balance. He wants to blame it on me, but the canoe was like, hoo, over.
So
because I was the one paddling.
So
no, it's because of your weight.
Was the canoeing part of y'all's fitness? I mean, why were you going canoeing? Is there nothing else to do in Pensacola?
Rob?
I'll let you take that. It was one of them, hey, let's figure out something to do because I'm absolutely sick and tired of Dalton telling me about all the video games he's playing. So I said, get off the couch and we're going to go to the river.
Wow. So it's just something to do, I guess. So, Rob, your family has a motorcycle shop. Is that where you've been building the bikes? And what's your project you're working on right now?
Yeah, so D&D family run business. But right now there's about 4 different bikes, including one of my old race bikes that I've kind of refurbished. But in the last couple of weeks, we've had multiple people that have been trying to get us to build some bikes because that's what we used to do. That's what we're kind of known for, is building cool stuff. And as luck would have it, like within a week of us saying, hey, we're going to start building some bikes, and we had 3 people buy brand new bikes off the showroom floor. And like on top of paying for a brand new bike, they're paying for lots of upgrades and modifications. So, and aside from just the regular everyday work that we've constantly got going on, so the quarantine's not hurting us any, man. I'm ready to take a break already. I'm ready to go to the track. I'm sick and tired of working on customer stuff. I want to make some Harleys go fast.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me too. Dalton, you recently turned 21. What'd you do to celebrate your 21st birthday?
No comment. No comment.
Rob took me out, and we just had a good night with all his family and stuff. And yeah, not too much, nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. I got you. So, how did you two get teamed up? I know last year, Rob, we were at Volusia Speedway at an all-star race. Dalton was just there watching, and Dalton got a phone call. He had to step outside. Everything went through, completed the road to recovery, but you guys were already teamed up together. So, Rob, how did you get hooked back up with Dalton and get him on the path to his success from last year?
I think we were just kind of BSing back and forth over Facebook. Like I had seen he had done some one-off rides. I think he went to Vegas maybe or somewhere out there and rode a couple people's bikes. And, you don't just lose your ability to ride a motorcycle. I knew that he still had the talent, and I knew that he might be a little bit out of shape. But we just were kind of BSing back and forth. And all of a sudden he's like, hey, man, I'm ready to put forth the effort. And I mean, we told the story 100 times already, but I was like, all right, well, if you get your butt here, sorry, we'll immediately get to work. And, I think it's like maybe a month later. I mean, I'm sure he had a lot of soul searching and thinking to do, that's whatever, I'll let him chime in on whatever he needed to do. But long story short, he got his butt here. And I mean, I think like literally within a day or two, we were riding and then training. We went to Ocala. I mean, he was so motivated to ride that he rode my Husqvarna set up for 200 pounds in Ocala. And like, I don't know how he had like zero feel with the bike being obviously so stiff set up for me. And right then and there, I was like, well, the kid is not only fast, but maybe the break is what he needed, because he just was hungry and all get out, man. He was super hungry. So, he kept putting in the work, and I promised, I feel like I held up my end and said, hey, we're going to go racing. And as you could tell, man, we sometimes showed up in a old crappy Ford truck with a trailer. We're parked right there next to the big old KTM rig and the big old, everybody else's rig. And we got a truck with two dented up fenders. And I think we hurt a few feelings also, but, with a little bit of, actually, I should say a lot of help from, the flattrack.com whole crew. And Dalton had some personal sponsors, I think, with Seafood Atlantic and quite a few other people that, FTL and some of the other majority, I don't know. Just a whole bunch of people came together and all wanted the same goal for Dalton. And we all pretty much said, all right, the ball's in your court. And the rest is history, as they say.
Well, Dalton, tell it on your side. How did you get hooked up with Robbie, and why Robbie, and why take the chance of moving and packing up and just moving to Florida?
After the whole the suspension and everything, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get back into racing and everything. I didn't have any money or really anything, so didn't have a job. I mean, wasn't doing much back home in PA, and I was just getting sick and tired of just living that lifestyle of not doing anything. So I really just wanted to go back racing, and it was eating me alive, honestly, because I've been doing it ever since I was 4. But after the suspension, I thought I needed me a little break. So that's what I did. And then when I wanted to come back, I did. So thankful for Rob getting a hold of me and letting me come down here and stay in his house and everything, and having a track to ride at, having motorcycles to ride at, and helping me save money up so I can do my own things. And yeah, it worked out really good. I mean, our first race was Daytona, and we didn't even know we were racing until 5 days before. So, and we got second. So that was really cool. And then Atlanta, of course, we won there. And then, from the season went on, I mean, it went pretty well.
Well, I just want to know something. Is Forky or Sporky or Rob, is that your roommate, or who is that?
It's Baby Dalt.
Baby Dalt, okay. And you just showed us 2 of your other roommates that are out back, and
3.
You got 3 goats out back.
See if I can get them.
Yeah, are they eating on the back porch? What's going on?
Yeah, well, the dang doors are right in the way. There we go. There's that might be BK. I'm not sure. That might be Sammy too. I got Sammy, BK. This door is really inconvenient.
Yeah. So
there
Sammy,
we go.
Sammy
There's
BK and who? What's the third one's name, Rob?
So we got Sammy after our little brother Sammy Halbert.
Right.
And we got Dalt, and we got BK.
Brandon Kitchen.
Yeah, BK 105.
All right, and Dalton for Dalton, right? So
yeah.
So Dalton, you got all these roommates. Do you actually stay at Rob's house, or do you stay somewhere else?
Nah, I stay here sometimes, but sometimes I don't because Rob scares me. Sometimes he's a little weird. He tries to sneak in bed with me at night.
Man.
But
struggle.
I got a house like 10 minutes away from here. It's not too bad. And then I got my roommate up there somewhere. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, Morgan Mischler. He's my roommate in my actual house. And then I got Justin Jones that lives with me too. But for right now, I'm at Rob's house just hanging out.
All right. So Justin Jones, Morgan Mischler, and Dalton Gauthier all live together. I'm assuming y'all train together and ride together. Who's the fastest at the Pensacola short track down there?
Ooh, last race I got beat by a little Cody Kopp. So
yeah.
Usually it's me or Justin. I mean, Rob's kind of close, not really, but.
Well, Rob's usually running the camera, so I don't think he can win every race.
No.
I like to keep the confidence up, man. You can't demoralize them.
So, are there any horror stories, Dalton, with living with two other racers? I mean, you guys get along all the time, or are there any horror stories with Mischler or Justin Jones?
No, not too bad. Mischler takes forever to go to the track. Like, he takes like 2 hours to load his gear bag up. It's like, what all do you need, bro? You need a helmet, jersey, pants, gloves, goggles, boots.
The same stuff every time.
Like 2 hours to put it all together. I'm like, come on, dude, let's go.
It's the same stuff every time. Why is he taking it even out of his gear bag?
He'll wake up and he'll be like, we're going to the track?
So accurate.
Wow.
But yeah, we call him the Space Cadet, actually.
Is that his new nickname, the Space Cadet?
Yeah.
All right. So, Dalton, you got to ride the XG. You're now part of the factory Harley-Davidson Vance & Hines team. You practiced a little bit with your teammates Brian Smith and Van de Kooi on the XG. What did you notice that was different in 2020 than was different last year in 2019, or could you tell a difference?
Dude, honestly, there's so many different things now, like with everything. I mean, going to the track, I can just fly there now, and I mean, it's such a big, huge opportunity for me to be on the factory team. But since last year, a lot of things have changed with Ricky and Brian coming on the team. And then, I have a new mechanic. So, I mean, it's just I'm just going to be a building year for sure. And having Rob there as my rider coach is going to help me a bunch too. So, I mean, the bikes are really good, and I'm really happy with how the testing went. So, yeah, I'm stoked for the first race, whenever it is.
I know you guys were just testing, but did you learn stuff from Brian or from Van de Kooi on any of the tests so far?
Yeah, I learned a lot from Brian and Jared, honestly. Like with bike setup is more or less with Brian is me learning from him and trying to figure out what I like on the bike because I haven't had that much time on a twin, honestly. So, and then Van der Kooi he's a smart rider and he's my age kind of, so we kind of have the same tactics, I feel like. So we can help each other out a bunch, I think.
You know, I had Ricky Howerton on the Off the Groove podcast just about 2 weeks ago, and he talked about how natural you looked on the motorcycle, and Brian was so technical about how he described things, and you answered, and you were gelling with the team right off the bat. So how cool is it to be teamed up with Brian, who's been in this sport probably just about as long as you've been around?
Man, I remember when I was probably like 6 or 7 years old going to the Nationals at like Springfield and stuff and watching Brian on the miles and even at the TT and short track. Like those guys were my heroes growing up, and now to be teammates with them is freaking awesome, and it's been a blast so far, and we haven't even raced. So I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm excited.
So, Rob, when you go to the races now here in 2020, what's going to be different for you than it was last year? I know Dalton just said you're the rider coach, but last year you were the rider coach, you were the mechanic, you were the driver, you were the gas man, you did everything. So this year when you go to the track, What's going to be different?
Well, I'm going to be hopefully a lot less stressed, but in reality, that's not going to be close anyway, because we both know, and before we even signed the deal, we both knew that we got a lot to learn because there's a lot of difference. My only real twin experience is working with Halbert sometimes on an XR. So other than when they basically said, here's your XG for production, me and Dalton learned the bike together. And I feel like, what I'm going to be doing a lot of is watching him ride and kind of translating how he feels on the bike to his mechanic, which, those guys are smart, man. Every single one of the Vance & Hines crew they all have the same motivation. They want to win and they want to get back on top, that's from Terry Vance straight on down. So, before we even signed, talking to Dalton, I was like, look, man, they've got their work cut out, but with you being teammates with these other guys, I feel like that he's going to have all the pieces he needs to his puzzle because, going on a single, you can just, a lot of it can be Dalton's ability overcoming maybe a few of the issues. But as well as I do, when he steps up against Bauman and Mees and those guys, and even Smith and Vanderkoy, his own teammates, and B-Rob, he's going to have to rely on his riding ability too, but the bike's going to have a much larger part because every one of those guys are the absolute best in the sport. I mean, we all know that. So to get back to your question without rambling on, I'm going to be, just keeping his head in the game, keeping him, level-headed, if something's not going right, and I'll tell him right to his face right now, but, he gets flustered sometimes, and my job is going to be to bring him back down and, portray what his frustrations are and help his mechanics analyze what's wrong with the bike, or, it could be something he's off that day, so help him get his head back around it. So I'm going to have a lot of hats still, but as long as Dalton wants me at the track as his guy, then I'm going to be there at every round. So, I won't be spinning wrenches, hopefully, too much. If they need me to, great. But, I'm going to be 100% focused on Dalton other than focused on booking hotel rooms, focused on gas money, focused on, rebuilding the motor in the grass field at whatever short track that was, all those frustrations are going to turn into, hey, man, you need to find a 10th or two.
So, Dalton, with all that being said, is there you rode the bikes a little bit. Is there anything technically different or more advanced than the bikes that you were riding last year? I know you got the call and got help from Terry Reimer and everything, and they were pretty much a factory bike, but now they're different. They got a little bit of Ricky Howerton's touch. So is there anything technical that you can talk about that's different, or is there just too much to talk about?
There's a bunch to talk about, but honestly, the bike's so different with Ricky being on the team. We've changed so much with chassis and motor development and everything else, and it's been good. I've been really confident, and I know Ricky said I don't talk that much like on the test days, but I was comfortable on my motorcycle, so I didn't really have much to complain about. So other than that, I'm feeling really good on the bike, and I'm happy to be where I'm at and take this opportunity as far as I can.
Well, Dalton, you've had so much success in such a short period of time. I don't know if you realized it, but you've won a national at the pro level on 6 different brands of motorcycles, including the first ever to win on an XG. I know that was the production twins class, but you've won on 6 different brands: BMW, Yamaha, last year alone, KTM, Honda, Husqvarna, and the Harley. So does anything make you nervous? Does it matter what you're riding?
I don't know. There's a lot to it. The bike's got to be set up right, of course. But, when I get on a motorcycle, I feel like I'm at home, and I feel comfortable on a motorcycle all the time, even if it doesn't handle that good. I can ride around in 15th place and still feel comfortable sometimes. But, when I jump on those motorcycles, I just try to do my best. And I know I'm racing against the best guys in the world, so I got to put all my effort into it, and that's what I've been doing, and it's been working out really good.
Dalton, are you nervous at all about moving up to the premier class, the Super Twins class? Racing against the best in the world, does that make you nervous at all?
A little bit. I was more nervous before we did some testing, but after the testing, I was really, really confident, and I'm a lot better now. I feel like I'm in a better place, and I'm not too nervous. Terry Vance on the Vance & Hines team told me that if just take race by race and not try and put too much pressure on myself, and I should be all right. So I'm just going to go with that and see how it works.
Dalton, why did you pick number 79? It's been a long time since there was a national number 79 out there. I did some research, and the last time it was used was 2002 by Stevie Welch, a fast girl that used to race. But why did you pick number 79?
I wanted to do something different. I've been always 14 or 22 usually, and then last year I was 122. But Vance and Hines started in 1979 actually, and I had a long talk with Terry Vance to figure out what number we wanted to do, and we put a lot of focus on the number 79, and it was just different, and I like the number, and I think it suits me well, and I think it'll be good branding for myself too.
Rob, it's probably the year you were born, right? 1979?
Man, I'm a 1983 model. You better get out of here with that mess. Wait, what year are you born in? Let's go back there.
It does start with a 7, but it ends in a 2, so 72. So I'm an old man, but that's why I don't do it anymore. But I like the 79. But Rob, man, I can't wait to see you guys at the track. What are you most looking forward to in 2020, Rob?
Man, I think on a personal note, I'm looking forward to, I'm trying to say this without, sounding cocky or condescending, but I think that, a lot of people don't take into consideration how tough the singles class is. And even to this day, they're like, oh, well, he just won the championship, big deal. But, if they only knew like some of the struggles Dalton and I went through throughout the year, like, yeah, we went to the races, and me and Dalton, and we had our buddy Gary. It was basically just us three with my mom and dad on the other end of the phone, like if we needed some help or if I had a technical question from my dad. But now, I think it's his time to shine. And people can get jealous and they can hate a little bit, but the kid put in the work. And Vance Hines wasn't the only offer he had. So, I think that I think he found a good home. So I don't know, man. It's hard to say again because I don't want to sound cocky or condescending, but I really think that on a twin, even winning production twins, man, those guys are no slouch. Texter's podiumed on a mile against the best of the best before. Barnes is no slouch. None of them guys. Rispoli has won national road races, other stuff. I mean, and there's too many riders to list. We can sit here all day, but even after Dalton won a couple of those races, and then, I mean, let's be honest. The couple of times we had mechanicals, and he turned in his hotel key and checked out. And we had a little misfortune, but nobody really, in my opinion, gave him some of the credit he might have deserved. And we both just said, hey, you know what? Keep your head up and keep putting in the work, and good things will come. And they did. So, I think it's going to be. I'm super excited to get there and finally say, all right, you made it to the top level. Now you got to sink or swim. And he's not a very strong swimmer in the water, but I think he's going to be on the bike. He's going to be all right.
So you mentioned there were some struggles. I'm looking back at the results right now. In 2019, in the AFT Singles class, won the championship, 4 wins, 9 podiums. In the production twins class, 2 wins on the Harley, Sacramento, and the Springfield Mile. 1 probably should have won Springfield Mile 2. Had some mechanical issues there, but 7 top 5s, and didn't even race 2 of the races. So to me, it doesn't seem like a struggle. Rob, can you elaborate a little bit more on some of the struggles besides trying to get to the track and stuff like that? I know at the beginning of the season, he rode three different bikes, 3 different brands, the first 3 races, and was like second, first, and first or something like that. Is that what you're talking about as far as struggles?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you look at the results too, and a lot of people, they don't look at what could have, should have happened, and I don't either. You can't take, you can't almost be pregnant, just like you can't almost win a race. You either win the race or you don't.
Right.
So we get to, for instance, Sturgis. Now, I'm not saying he was going to win. Look at Shayna, Chad Coast, all of them. They were freaking hauling butt. But, dude, we had a 79-cent OEM plastic fuel connector broke. I mean, running for probably a podium, but even still a top 5. Take all those points and throw them out the window. You know what I mean? Then I think it was Sacramento. Again, we're that part of the year we're running 1 motorcycle, and then we have a stock moto bike. So he's running up near the front, and we knew it was time to rebuild. We just didn't have it in the budget at the time, and we were getting 0 help, and we were scraping by. Let me rephrase that. We got lots of like individual personal help, but on a team that's leading the championship, we were just trying to get a piston and a cylinder, and luckily, we didn't get black flagged. I put a big old catch bottle on there. If people only knew that we were filling up a catch bottle like half a quart per race, and I'm draining it, we had our cylinder and piston were just worn slap out. So that's another one that I don't remember where he ended up, but it wasn't, he was fast. We all know he's fast on a mile. And then the other one, Springfield. Of course, that was his own fault. But just going back and kind of reanalyzing it, which we did every single race, we would sit there and relive it over and over again. I mean, he was coming through the pack, and no disrespect to any other riders, but I mean, if you can run.
That's not mine.
That's mine.
Uh-oh.
Whose kid is that?
Someone's in trouble.
Yeah. Uh-oh. She is mad. She's mad. That's that.
She's probably mad because you got Forky over there.
You can shut the door too. Don't come back in though.
Man, Dalton, does he tell you that too? Dalton, does he say you shut the door and don't come back in here?
Yeah.
Not me.
So anyway, back to Springfield real quick. I mean, coming through the pack again, the singles class is stacked. That's notoriously a pretty hard track to pass on, and dudes going inside, outside, left, right, and had the fastest lap of the race, and through the traffic. And Jesse Janish was in the same race as he was. And, Jesse, of course, he probably could have went faster, but he was unchallenged at the front. And then to come back into the pits and me and my good buddy Michael Locke, I call him Mikey. We're ready to get down, and then me and Moorhead are about to slap fight shirtless, and it turned into a mess. So unfortunately, those we're going to give those two a pass. I'm going to, because we know the speed was there. But again, if and buts, were candy and nuts. But
right.
We did give away some unfortunate points, and as bad as it sounds, I never want to take away from anybody else. But we were lucky that, unfortunately for him, Mikey Rush got a bad break at, I think, New York. I think, is it New York, Dalton? Yeah. So, the consistency was there. We had some little mistakes, and yeah, some of them were our fault. Two of the really big ones, sucked. I mean, I don't manufacture fuel lines, but I can promise you after that, you can ask Dalton, man, I immediately went down and got the most expensive metal reinforced heavy duty fuel line fittings we could find.
I'm sure. So Dalton, who was some of your stiffest competition in the singles class in 2019?
Man, there's a bunch of dudes. Like, you got Rush, you got Wells, you got Bromley, Shayna, of course. But you also got those, like, little privateer teams, like with Maxwell and all those guys. I mean, they're all fast, and we're all pretty much on the same motorcycles. I mean, CC-wise, I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, the class is really stacked, and there's so many good riders, but you just got to put it together on race day, So, I mean, it's super tough. I mean, I think some of the super twin riders would have a really tough time in the singles class trying to chase a championship and stuff. It's super tough, but I think they just helped me be a better rider, and now I'm in the super twins class, and I think it's going to help me.
Well, now that you're out of that class, who do you think is going to win the championship in 2020? Get back to racing. I know that guy living, in the bunk bed above you right now. He's fast. He's moved to Florida. He's riding a lot, and he's got a new number. He was flying at Volusia, before we got started with, as we were getting into bike week down there. Is it possible that he could pull out, an upset and win a championship?
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I could see it. Yeah. I mean, he's got to clean some stuff up. But Michelin's always been super fast and a good competitor. I mean, last year we went three car tracks. We went 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. And I mean, we were good friends, and now we're living together. So it was cool to look back on those memories. But now he's got a shot at it for sure. He just needs to clean up some stuff. And then you got Rush. He's going to be probably the main dude to beat. He's so fast and he's pretty consistent, and he's on a new team now. So Wiles, I mean, there's so many guys you can't even really say. It's so tough. But yeah, my main pick would be probably Rush to beat.
All right. Well, let's take a look back at the championship video and how good it felt to win. You know, in the singles class, 4 wins, 9 podiums. It was such a good season, and like Rob said, there was some disappointments in there too. But you still 9 podiums out of the 18 races, so half the races you're on the podium. So talk us through the championship again, and what was some of the highs of 2019 for you?
Highs would have to be those first 2 races. Honestly, those were pretty big. I was stoked about those two going second and first the first 2 races. There were so many highs, but there's so many lows too. I mean, Springfield was huge. I wanted to go for that 3rd win in a row, but the Harley broke, which was a bummer. But that was a super huge weekend for me. Williams Grove with all my fans there, and we almost won both classes that night. But I got second in the production class to Barnes. But yeah, that would have been a little bit cooler if I got both wins that night. But other than that, I mean, there's so many highs. I mean, Arizona TT, I had a lot of fun there. Sacramento before our bike started going to track. I mean, there's so many. I'd have to say Springfield or Williams Grove were one of those 2 that were on the top.
How important it is to you to win a race there you're from Pennsylvania. How important it is for you to win a race right there in Pennsylvania? Like you said, friends and family were right there watching. So what did that win mean to you?
It was huge. I mean, my mom and my family members, my friends, all from back home really don't get to see me race in person. And I know a lot of my friends, that was the first time they ever even see me race in person. So that was cool. And to be out front in front of all my fans and family and friends, that was super sweet. And I've never really had that exposure to my friends and family and stuff before in real life person. So that was super cool.
Rob, what were you most proud of as far as either you as a mechanic last year or Dalton's riding, or one race in particular stick out that you're most proud of last year?
No, there's not one in particular. I mean, I probably, because it showed the most emotion. I mean, our first win in Atlanta with those guys, Constantine and
Maloney.
Yeah, Maloney letting us borrow a bike, like, hey, we want to help. We know the kid's got talent. And then to go and win on their bike, and his first win back, there was a lot of emotion there. Obviously, I had, teared up a little bit, but I knew that it was going to happen, especially after Daytona. I take that back. Especially after just testing at the track and riding around, I knew that we were going to get wins. I was hoping in the back of my mind for to be in the championship hunt, but to come out swinging like we did, with a second and a first, after that they just kept rolling with us. But the Harley win was super special. Again, it goes back to some of them people like, oh well, it was just a production twins, but it was so much more than that to us, man. I mean, people give Texter flack too, saying, well, it's only production twins, but those dudes are no slouch, man. It's just like, if you look at like a road race or a motocross or supercross, it's the 250 class is just as hard to win or harder than the 450 class, or the 600 class compared to superbike class. There's no slouches anywhere in AFT. I mean, anybody that says otherwise, I'll tell them right to their face how much they're full of it. But the Harley thing, I think, is one of the best ones because, to be part of the Harley guys, it's always been kind of, if you can get that orange and black suit on, even though it was kind of a Terry Reimer, Black Hills team with Vance and Hines Harley support, it was still like they brought us in and treat us just like we were family, let us, whatever we need in the rig, hey, come look at this and see, let's see where he's, losing speed, all the tools they've got, all the guys they've got to help out, anytime we had a question, what do you need? And right then and there, we knew that, these guys were invested and they wanted to help us be successful too. So we fit right in my opinion, they might kick me out after the first race, but they got Dalton for a while now. So
I was I was going to ask you that too, Dalton. Was it your choice to bring Robbie on? Was it a package deal? Did they ask both of you at the same time, or how'd that work out?
I just pretty much contacted Terry and asked him if I could bring Rob and have him help me out during the races this year, and just have somebody to be there with me. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to really go to the races by themselves, really. So yeah, it was just nice to have somebody there with me at the races now, and yeah, so he's going to be a big help with just confidence and everything, and just keeping me cool and calm and everything else. So yeah, with all that, yeah, Rob's going to be with me as my rider coach, so should be good.
So Rob, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, it was pretty cool. When we first started, with the Vance and Hines deal, they brought us in there and kind of asked what we wanted, what we expected before we even talked about signing anything. We told them what Dalton wanted first and foremost, because obviously Dalton's the talent. I told them kind of what we needed and expected, and what Dalton would not necessarily require. We weren't like strong arming anybody, but we were on the same page, I think, from just about the get-go. And I'm very, very thankful for Dalton to bring me in with him. That shows that he trusts me, and I trust him 100%. And we don't see eye to eye on every single thing, but I think we both want him to be a champion, the same amount. So any other disagreements we have, we just look back on the greater goal and the bigger picture, and it kind of equals out.
So, Dalton, what to get back to racing in 2020? What are you looking forward to the most?
The racing.
The racing, yeah.
Any particular track, Dalton? You go first. Any particular track you're looking for?
I'm looking forward to Springfield.
You want some redemption a little bit from when you broke down, or you think you can pull out a win in the Super Twins class on the XG?
I think I have a good shot at it. I'm just looking forward to riding that track. I have so much fun riding that place. Just feet up on the pegs, halfway through the corner, just wide open. You can't beat that. Springfield Mile. It's the best track. It's the best track on the circuit, I think.
I agree with you, Rob. Are you looking forward to that one the most too, or is there a different one that you're more excited about?
Man, I'm excited about any of them. I love Springfield from a mechanic standpoint. I was terrible as a rider there. I don't know if it was just the speed or what. Any of the TTs except for Peoria, I'm excited to see Dalton at. I don't know what's wrong with him there, but I told him the other day. I said I saw a freaking grandma on a Razor Rascal scooter passing down the straightaway on the way to get a hamburger.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the motor maids, wasn't it?
It could have been, yeah. She was looking over at Dalton as he was full tucked in, and she was holding a hot dog and a drink in her hand, and she passed him.
Wow.
But I think Springfield, because everybody, any flat tracker will tell you, man, Springfield is the Daytona 500 or the NASCAR or whatever, your equivalent. Anybody and everybody wants to win Springfield. And we've seen how fast the kid is there, so I'm super excited. It scares the crap out of me.
Rob, are you running a daycare right there today? You're not at the motorcycle shop, so is it daycare day at your house?
No, every day. You gotta forgive me, man. Me and Danielle, we have 5 kids, and even though you tell them beforehand, hey, we need quiet time and don't interrupt. So 4 of them have already come through. Paisley woke up from a nap, plus these other 3 goat kids that we just picked up. We got them on Craigslist. Smoking deal.
And then you got Dalton and Morgan in the other room. So it's quarantine life, right?
Man, I know I'm trying to talk him into going on a little Grom monkey ride in a little bit, but Merg's got a Tinder date.
He probably ate. Well, he's got his socks on. He's ready.
Did you hear Violet? She just said, again?
So when you guys aren't at the track, you guys like to have fun, and I like that about you guys. You guys, always having fun. I love your social all the content on social media. So we appreciate you stopping by the AFT show. It's episode number 2. Today's show presented by E3 Spark Plugs. Thanks again for your time, man, and good luck if we get to racing in 2020. And stay safe out there. All right.
Yeah, Jared Mees ain't that fast. Jared Mees ain't that fast.
Rob's faster than Jared Mees.
I beat him. 2002 South Central Amateur Nationals, first place.
You got the trophy, right?
I do. It was a number plate plaque. We're not going to talk about how he had to leave a day early and couldn't make one of the races, but I got the plate.
Well, it sounds like it's getting hectic over there on your end. Thanks for coming on the AFT show with Scottie Deubler, and we'll see you guys at the track.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
See ya.
Cheers me feeling that fast.
Yeah.
Powering the winners of America's original extreme sport. E3 Diamond Fire technology maximizes the fuel burn for better fuel efficiency and more power. E3 spark plugs. What are you running?